But this is like real frustrating stuff that people really go through. And what do I feel like I know better.
Well, you seem to be handling it really well.
I do?
No.
Hey, look, life is not easy. Anything good worth having isn't easy, but add to that the complexity of being an entrepreneur, being married, having children. We have done a lot of things right. We've made a few $1 million. We probably lost a few $1 million. We made some mistakes along the way, but one thing that we are really good at is relationships.
That's right. We have been together for almost 2 decades.
And we've been through hell and back together.
Yeah, we have. And we used to think that we were the only ones like us out there.
But, especially in our entrepreneurial ventures, we started meeting other ride or die couples that were going through the exact same things that we were going through. And they kept coming to us talking about advice and looking for solutions and really ways to help their relationship thrive. So we just knew there had to be a tribe of us out there. There's no way we could be the only ones out there.
We are getting real and raw, guys.
That's what he said.
Oh my God, babe. From dating to marriage to kids and even sex.
Even how to fight the right way.
We're going to be committed to being open and honest with you because we believe in your relationship too. Welcome to the Ride or Die podcast. Hello, what's going on? Thanks for joining us today on the Ride or Die Couples podcast.
So weird when you make your voice like bougie sounding.
Why? What? I don't sound bougie. I'm just a little tired, honestly. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm
Sick
sleepy.
and tired? Or being sick and tired?
No, I'm not sick and tired. I'm just tired.
Oh, okay.
We've just had a lot going on, and I'm tired.
Catch up our
It's
peoples.
like late nights, early mornings regardless, a few extra social outings, which means I have a few more cocktails than normal, which makes me tired because then I'm not on my A game. Still getting in the gym, still picking up the kids, family in town. We had Easter, just like it was just a lot. It's a lot. So Mama's tired. Tired.
Yep.
I'm tired and I'm ready for some sleep. Like this morning, you woke me up so sweetly, but I'll tell you, I wasn't thrilled. I heard the door open. I'm like, oh, he's coming. I had just woken up too. Like,
Oh, he's coming.
oh, he's coming. But I had just woken up from my alarm and I was like, oh, I have that backup alarm. If he's not in here working out or bugging me to work out already, we must not be working out today. And then here you come. Now, I didn't work out because I had something early this morning and I got to get my butt in the gym. But that leads us to our topic today because I just have this like fire inside me and I need to get it out. And the only way, the best place to do it is on the podcast. So I'm like, it's so real right now. I can't even tell you, but I just don't understand. And I do to a degree because I've done it like with getting in the gym. I didn't get up this morning. To me, the rest was more important. But for the most part, like you can tell that I'm way more serious about losing weight than I was like a year ago when I said, oh, I want to lose some weight because like I'm actively doing things every day towards my goal right now. And I'm not so like going so hard that I'm not having a life. Like I'm looking for that life balance along the way. And I feel like I found it. So I feel really good. But recently we've had a situation where I've just seen like total lack of motivation for something somebody said they wanted versus like their actions to whether they were actually going for what they wanted. And it was like a light bulb went off in my head and I'm like, I got so frustrated. I'm like, what? This person wanted this so bad.
It's going to be so hard to talk about this story in like a hypothetical.
It's hypothetical, but tell me that you haven't had this in your life. And you didn't actually want me to talk about the story, so you can't say that. You can't tell me don't talk about it, and then I get on the podcast and you get frustrated that I'm not talking about it. So don't do that. See, now I'm going to get frustrated. I'm going to yell at him for that. Because he literally said before we put on the podcast, I don't know if you're going to do it on blast. So I didn't put it on blast. Okay. Tell me, though. Everybody knows this situation, hypothetical or not. You know somebody in your life that is like the whiner or complainer or just something. They're always saying they want something. They always want more. Or why don't they have this or why don't they have that? And yet they don't have it for a reason. There's some lack of motivation there. What is it that's not motivating them? And I've seen this before with this one situation. I've seen it for like years, but it really didn't hit me until I was more heavily involved in a specific scenario where I went, oh my gosh, this is like the most frustrating thing to me. I actually got a little grateful, just a little bit. I got very...
The topic of the show is around how bad
do you want it?
Do you really want it? Because wanting something is very different than being willing to put in.
And I probably just sound like an angry freaking bee today.
It is frustrating.
I'm on fire a little bit. I'm not like, let's talk about how bad you want it. Like, no, like this is like really how bad do you want things? It's frustrating me. It's frustrating.
Why? Because you know what it feels like to actually say you want something
and get it, and so it's wow,
and go through the pain, the hardship,
and the grit, and not quitting at this first little obstacle that comes our way. Like we've hit probably like 10 road bumps on this like one thing that we're working on right now, and like there's other parties involved that quit like 5 times already, and it's like, holy shit! Like I know sometimes we take each other for granted in the sense that we don't always like on a daily basis like completely register just how much the other person does in our life, because we're both freaking hungry go-getters. We're just hungry, and I think it's so natural for us now that we can forget just how hard we work sometimes. But this reminded me, because to see the lack of that ambition from somebody else actually makes me really upset and frustrated. Not because they're not doing anything, but I get frustrated for them. Like, I'm seeing why they don't have things that they say they want. And it frustrates me that they don't have that fire in their belly that I have. And so I'm like sad for them almost. You know what I mean? Like,
or they have a fire, but there's this whole story wrapped around it that's like a victim.
It's more like a why me, or this is why my life sucks.
Right. I am, come hell or high water, I will convince you of why I am in this situation, or my life sucks because of evidence. And like, the truth is nobody cares.
But none of it did this.
Right. Nobody cares. Right. And it's all...
Like, I could tell you why did I get fat? I got fat because I was not eating right. I was not working out. I mean, Brandon doesn't say I was fat, and he doesn't like when I say I was fat, but I was Fat Sam last summer.
Fat Sam.
That was Fat Sam.
I don't know Fat Sam.
That was Fat Sam. I'll in a couple more months, when I feel even better about my body, I will whip out some pictures of Fat Sam. But I was Fat Sam. That's the most I've ever weighed, ever. That's the most I will ever weigh, unless maybe I'm just 80 and I just decide like, I'm just gonna.
So what do people?
Indulge.
So we've got kind of 2 things going on here. Either you're watching this and you're
thinking,
that person.
What the hell?
You are that person who has found yourself saying like, oh, I want this, but why aren't I getting it? Or it's too hard, or whatever. Or probably more likely, if you're watching this show, you have people around you that constantly have a reason or an excuse. They say they want something, but when push comes to shove, they just don't
want it.
Do the work.
Bad enough.
They don't have an optimistic. Every single obstacle that comes up is I knew it. This wasn't meant to be, or this is too hard, or this will never, blah blah. Fill in the blank.
Right.
So you're either dealing with a person like that, which is probably more like our audience. Or maybe you are that person and you just needed someone to help give you a wake up call.
Out of it today by yelling at you for the next 20 minutes. But
so
kidding.
So what do we do? What have we done? Because it's created a little bit of tension with us having to have these frustrating conversations, or you as my wife being like, you didn't give me this preface last night, but I wish you had just been like, hey, I just need to vent, because I had a big day yesterday too, and then that was like...
Oh, I did about halfway through, though. I was like, look, I'm coming to you as your wife right now.
Yeah. So how...
Sorry.
What advice
I got into it a little bit too much first.
What advice do you have for those people on either how to deal with those situations, I don't know. Which direction are we going to take this show?
Well, you can start a podcast and just vent to your whole audience about it like I am. And I'm not getting into all the details because I'm stronger than that. I can keep it inside. I don't need to put everybody on blast. But I guess the whole reason that I wanted to actually talk about this on the podcast today, because I've worked through a lot of it already. I'm just like re-digging it back up for, dramatics and like whatever for the podcast. Not really. I'm not like faking it. This is real frustration that I had experienced over the last few days. Very easy to relive because it's just a fresh wound. And it had nothing to do with Brandon. Just to make sure everybody's aware. What's everything going on over there? Is everybody okay? But this is like real frustrating stuff that people really go through. And what do I feel like I know better.
Well, you seem to be handling it really well.
I do?
No.
Oh, well, thanks. No, okay, so what do I do? Well, obviously I bitch about it. That's like a good step. I need to like get it out. But I like to feel my emotion fully so that I can move on. Otherwise it like will eat me alive. Like I couldn't fall asleep last night, and you were like, it's okay, babe, you can go to bed. Like things are fine. And I'm like, whatever, just go to sleep. I know you're tired. But at the same time, in my mind, like I do like get to a point where I go, okay, this is probably the biggest takeaway if you're in a situation like this. One, if you're the person that is the person like looking for every excuse not to do something you don't even do it on purpose, but you're realizing, oh my God, that is actually me. The simplest thing is to just start taking action in the opposite direction. I mean, one little action will lead to another action, and eventually you'll have the compound effect where you're not going like on the negative side, you're going on the positive side. You'll see more positive changes. It feels really good. Just come join us on the bright side.
Because the truth is, no matter what people tell you, nobody cares about your excuses. And you could either have reasons for why you don't have what you want, or you can have results. So stop giving people all the freaking reasons why you're in the situation you're in, or you had this upbringing, or your boss is whatever. People will maybe entertain you to just kind of smile and nod, but if they're being honest, they're talking to somebody else who will listen to them bitch about you, because no one gives a shit about your excuses. Plain and simple.
Now, on the receiving end, if you're on the receiving end of the negativity and you're like, so I generally do my best to be a positive person, be around positive people. So I'm like a big whining baby when I'm around people that aren't like that, because it really does affect me, because I just have, in some ways, I put myself into a bubble in some ways because I just refuse. I'm like allergic to, we say we're allergic to negativity all the time. Like I just refuse to be around people like that constantly. So here I am facing a situation where I can't really get out of that right now. And the biggest thing for me to do is, one, just bitch about it to Brandon. That helps a lot. So thank you very much. And then two, for me, I have to just do my best to live that emotion when I'm living it, but then drop it and focus on what my goal is. Focus on what my outcome is, and not let all that emotional crap like get in the way of the goals, because really in the middle of all of this, there is a simple goal that we're achieving, and there's steps along the way that need to get done to achieve that goal, right? It could be anything. And in order to get there, you just have to like put aside all that drama and just like focus on, oh, here's the next milestone. This is what I need to accomplish. Check that one off the list. Oh, here's the next milestone. Okay, how am I going to get there? How am I going to work? Put on my game face, like smile, be nice to everybody to get it done. Like I'm doing my best to just, I don't know what the right way to say this is, but just like keep things level-headed. Like,
so if someone's working for a
promotion, if I'm working with somebody that's not level-headed, the last thing I want to do is be like not level-headed with them. You know what I mean? Like if somebody's being emotional or trying to project their negativity on me, I have noticed already in the last few days of being in this specific situation that if I project negativity back, like it's not helping the situation. So I just, maintain as cool as I can and focus on the goal and keep on pushing towards that. And I have to be sensitive a little bit to people's feelings, but I don't have to cater to people's feelings. That's different. And I think a lot of people can find themselves in situations where like, I can be a little too stone cold. So I have to be more empathetic to the way people feel in situations. A lot of the time I have to remind myself of that, because I could just be like, don't care, here's my goal, here's my target, I'm gonna reach it. And it can almost be like a little aggressive for people. But at the same time, I'm not going to live in all that negative drama that's going on either, right? Does that make sense? Like, it doesn't help a situation to, like, what's the right way to say that, Brandon, without like offending anybody? Like, I don't let myself go there that deep. So like, to me, that's like me, what's that like saying, like, you don't want to take yourself down to somebody else's level if you don't feel like you're there, because then you're like experiencing things that like aren't part of your norm, and I just don't want to be there. So there's like a level where I'm empathetic, and then there's a degree where I'm not, and I won't stand for certain things. But that's the best way I could put it, I guess. I don't know. But you tell me, like, you're in the workplace all the time. You have to deal with a ton of different types of people. You're talking, especially in real estate, we're talking like all different personality types you come across. You're coming across people that are, some of them are really desperate to sell their houses. I mean, they really could come with the most negativity and the most emotion that they possibly could come to you, because they're in a desperate situation.
Just dealt with it yesterday with somebody.
So like, what is it for you? Like, you're more cool, calm, and collected than I am. So for me, I'm just kind of like, but I got this. Like, you're a little bit more cool, calm, and collected. So what's your perception on all of it?
I focus on my goal, and also, this is what I call reading between the lines. Like, let's just say a seller or someone in business can say they can say they don't want this and they don't want that, and they wish this was better and they want that. And what I think I do a better job of is smiling and nodding, because I listen and I try to read between the lines. So, okay, I know you said you want this. I was dealing with a seller yesterday. I bought their house a year ago. Did it with creative financing because they wanted too much for their house. I said, I'll pay too much for your house, but you're going to have to keep the mortgage in place. And so I helped solve their problem temporarily. It's like, I can't do this landlord thing anymore. It's killing me, and it's just too much. And if I try to sell the house, I'm going to have to pay a realtor, and da-da-da-da-da. So I'm like the hero then, trying to help solve their problem. And then come, a year later, we're ready to refinance and pay off that mortgage. And like, the whole story changes. So my point is, in a situation like that, I'm listening to what the facts are about their situation and what they're saying they want. And now what they're saying they want is different. Oh, well, we could have sold it. We're real estate experts all of a sudden. And, we would have continued to rent it. It wasn't that bad. I'm listening to them going, okay, that's nice. But I know it was hurting you. You had to get out of that situation. So I'm doing what I think is responsible for both parties, because a lot of people are really good at telling you what they don't want and giving you a buffet of things that they don't want, and they wish they had this, and this isn't fair, and whatever. But they're never like just very clear about one thing. Like, if this could just be better, I just want this and this. Most people aren't very clear about that. So
Clarity.
I listen to a lot, and then I read between the lines, no matter if it's something as simple as a pool is making noises. Something as simple as a homeowner wanting to get out of their situation, that they're stuck with their house, or whether it's, a colleague in business saying, well, I want, this, and I want this, and I want this. Well, I listen, I seek clarity, I trust myself, and then I kind of like, I prioritize things, because I have people bitch to me actually quite often. And
including your wife.
What I listen to is, okay, I know you wish this was better. I know this is an issue, this. And what I do is I try to just say, all right, what's the one or two things that I can move to the top of that priority list, that if we just fix those or improve those or reach those goals, everybody else will be like happier. So this situation that we're not being very specific with, the main goal is going to the main goal
Oh my gosh.
is a very positive thing.
Yeah.
Right?
And it like focusing on that. That's what
Right.
I'm staying focused on is
It's
the
like,
result.
oh yes,
the
I know
outcome.
this is a little inconvenient and that's kind of a pain in the butt right now and all this is whatever, it's not fun. But fast forward and in about, 30 days, this situation is going to be
Done.
this goal will be completed. And
Achieved.
all of the benefits,
see it, I
whether
taste
you
it.
can
It's
see
right
them
there.
now or not, I trust that all of the, I'm hanging on to that because that's the high priority. That's the one thing that's gonna even make all the other
Decisions a lot easier and
right.
and all the work along the way a lot easier too. I just think it's weird, like that when I think about the amount of work and stuff that we put in compared to some other people, and some people do more than even we do. They probably would look at
sure.
us like we're underachievers, but then I look at some people and think like they say their days are so busy and they're not nearly as busy as ours. So I like do my best not to judge, but then a little piece of me goes, oh my gosh, like you're so much more capable of doing so much more, and you don't see that for yourself. So like. But I'm sure somebody does that about us. And then I think like, wow, I don't know how we could fit anything more into our days, but somebody out there is probably doing it. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, like this weird cycle. And like, I don't know, I just think of weird things and I'm just like blabbing it about it today.
Well, thanks for episode of the Ride or Die podcast where we will just vent. So this week's episode is
It's
just
not
called
really
venting.
because I had clarity in the situation. For me, I mean, if anything, there's somebody watching this today or several people that do watch our podcast that maybe just needed to hear like that we're human and we go through these types of things, and to have that type of clarity about like, oh, that's okay to feel that way. Oh, that's okay that there, yes, I do actually have people in my life that I'm dealing with that same or similar situation. And thanks for the confirmation that I just need to like focus on the right things, focus on my goals or focus on the goal or whatever. Like right now, I'm not even focused on my own goal. I'm focused on somebody else's goal.
You know what?
And maybe that's what makes that so frustrating for me is I'm focused on helping somebody else achieve their goal right now. And the fact that they don't necessarily have as much motivation to achieve it as I thought they did, but I have all this motivation to help them follow through. There's like, it's not even my goal. This isn't even my goal. Versus I know if I have my own goal and I know I'm slacking on it, like losing weight or stuff, I might need to go get a trainer because that trainer will kick my butt a little harder than I will or whatever, right? Right now it's Sean T on Beachbody. He's killing me. He's killing me.
I had something, but I just lost it.
Sorry. It'll come to you. No? Any takers? Any takers?
Damn it. No, I forgot.
Darn. Well, I'll just keep going then. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, the clarity is real. I will say for me to just take a step back and go, this too shall pass. This is just like another thing to get through. Did you think of something?
Yes.
I'm
When
gonna stop there.
you're surrounded by people that don't want it as bad, it can be easy to fall into the trap of trying to prove them wrong, trying to change their mind, and it's a full-time job changing yourself. So don't try to change people. And
Nope.
that was something that we did very well. There wasn't a lot of trying to prove someone wrong. There wasn't a lot of going down that path, that scary path of trying to change somebody's mind when we're around people who are, negative or victim mentality. Like, ooh, it's so easy to be like, to want to be like, shake them, right?
That's be
And
smashing it all in their face.
Here's the mirror. Don't you see? You're complaining about this, but don't you see why you have this? It's you. It's not the world. It's not the government. It's not the economy. It's you. we didn't fall into that trap. And that was, that's super important because you're not going to change people.
Yeah.
But anyway, we should wrap this up. You got any final words?
I hope you got some value out of this. I mean, I don't really feel like I own, like, he thinks this is venting, but I feel like this is real life conversation.
That
and
is.
stuff that really happens. And you know what? At the end of the day, I'm freaking human, and this is our life. Like, this is stuff that just happens, and we deal with this stuff all the time in business. We deal with this stuff all the time in, work, and we deal with this stuff with the kids and stuff. And I think, like, we do mostly, like, we don't really come to the table every week with, like, the very prim and proper, answers. Sometimes it just goes a little bit more on the emotional side. I used to like to only talk about things that were, like, really in the past because it wouldn't allow me to get over emotional about them. But there is, like, a sense of, kind of peace about talking something that's a little bit more real time. Again, like, I can dig up the emotion for it real fast if I need to because the frustration is there. But, at the same time, like, just knowing that when we're focusing on the right things and focusing on our goals, like, just because there's a little bit of, like, drama on one situation in my life, everything else is actually going really well for me right now. I'm super happy. We're in a great spot.
Super duper.
Even though we have a lot of stuff going on, we're actually having more sex than you demand in a week, which is very nice.
High five.
So that's a plus. It feels good for me too. So I'm winning. We're going on a vacation soon. I'm taking a trip to see my best friends soon here. And, like, there's just stuff going on. So it's, like, good stuff. There's good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff in my life. So just remember, if you're going through something this week, which everybody's going through something, whatever that something is, there's probably 10 things around you that are going really right that'll just trump all the negativity. And that's what I focus on. Like, all those little good things. I can totally get in it in the moment and, like, go all crazy about the actual, like, one thing that's dramatic in our life right now. But the reality is, if I can put a little fluffy spin on it for a second, like, there's a lot of good stuff going on, and I'm really in a good place. It's probably why one little situation or
Probably the sex.
It's totally the sex. It's probably why that one little blip of negativity or something, like, minorly going wrong in my life can seem so amplified. Like, when it first started, it was like, ah! And then I was like, oh, wait, this is okay, because if I could just take down the amplification of it and go, okay, there's actually a lot of good stuff going on around me, and I'm just going to focus on that shit then, because that's the good shit.
That's right.
I'm just going to keep saying shit.
All right, take us out.
Are they're gonna make us take our videos down because I swear like a pirate all the time?
No. You are tame compared to many other shows.
I'm way tamer than I used to be. Can you remember? I used to swear all the time, and I really even try hard now not to do it, but it's just, I don't know, it's kind of like stuck in me.
They're ready to get on with their day. Watch the next
All right,
podcast.
well, you get on with your day then, and thank you for joining us. And check us out on IG. Ooh, exciting news. So I took my IG back, and I made...
Your IG back.
It was at Brandon and Sam was mine. You have at Brandon T. Middleton, and I have at Brandon and Sam. And I think I'm the one that did most of the work to even get us our, 1,000 followers. There's not a lot of followers on there, but I'm slowly climbing here.
We love every 1,000 of you.
Of course we do, but he's acting like I took something back that had 1 million followers, and that was mine too. And I'm like, no, we're going to do it now. Anyway, the point is, we each have our own identity too, and I think that was getting a little bit lost with us sharing an IG. So
yeah, all the millennials, all the cool kids are telling me they're confused.
They're confused who's answering and who's saying what. So I just went, we'll just have our own IGs again.
More work. Manage 3 IGs instead of 1.
I know,
cool.
But it's for the people.
For the people. We'll do anything for the people.
So at Brandon and Sam is just me solo again, and at Brandon T. Middleton is B. We both post different stories, so make sure to check out our IG stories. We got some good fun stuff on there. And then at Ride or Die Couples is our Ride or Die Couples one on IG too.
Community of Ride or Die Couples.
Of Ride or Die Couples. Come follow us
around
on
the
there.
globe. So we'd love to highlight other Ride or Die couples because we definitely ain't the only ones.
But thank you for joining us, and we appreciate you guys. And let me know what other topics you want me to vent about, and I'll make sure to get back on with something else for you next week.
Yeah, send your questions either through PM, DM, whatever they call it these days, or email.
People don't even get their phone numbers these days. You're at a networking event and you exchange follows on Instagram. Like, I really feel old saying it like that because somebody was saying that about like cell phones at some point, and now I'm doing that about Instagram. But anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Later.